Hey guys, it's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another All Things Green Month review. And this is a review of a 1984 sort of sequel of the Muppet movie that came out back in the 70s. It's a movie from my childhood. I love this movie. I've seen this movie so many times on VHS, and it's a huge part of my life. And that is the Muppets Take Manhattan. It's like a lullaby to Broadway, and I agree with that. This is a very fun movie. Basically, the Muppets in this movie are just they're graduating from college and they want to put their college production of Manhattan Melodies on Broadway. So they try to find a producer that can fund them so that they can do their show on Broadway. And it's a nice premise. It's a good plot, and the film just brings back a lot of memories. I love Jim Henson's puppeteering in this movie. Frank Oz is great, always as Miss Piggy and Fozzie Bear and Animal. It's just really good stuff. I mean, the film is a timeless treasure for me because I see the Muppet movies now and that 2015 show that came out, and I'm like, yeah, they missed the whole point of what made the Muppets fun. It's fun for all ages. It's not just for adults. It's for also for children, babies, and also young teens as well. The Muppets are timeless. Disney should have never gotten their hands on them. But anyway, the film has a lot of memorable songs like "Together Again." Gee, it's good to be together again. Love that song. The song where they show the Muppet Babies, which is that was a cartoon I loved when I was a kid. The Muppet Babies, that was so cute. You see Miss Piggy and Gonzo and Fozzie and Kermit as babies is so adorable. Like that's something that they could not replicate with these new films. And also, this film has a lot of nostalgia for me. There's a lot of actors here that are no longer with us. You got Art Carney as Ronnie Crawford's father, the one that's funding, producing a Kermit show. You got Joan Rivers. Rest in peace, Joan Rivers. She's in this movie. She has a nice small cameo. You got other people too. You got the actor that was in he's the villain in what you call it, 9 to 5, and he's in Inspector Gadget, which is horrible, but he's good in the film. He plays a very basically a snobby fraud producer that's trying to fund their show, but he's like, oh, I need from you is $300, and I'm like, a piece, and I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna work. But anyway, he gets exposed for being a fraud, and then the police take him away, and I'm like, yeah, good, because ripping people off is bad business. But anyway, the Muppets, they go through a lot of things. They break up at one point and go their separate ways and try to find success on their own, and then they eventually come back together, which is a good moment. There's a moment that Kermit gets amnesia where he gets hit by a taxi cab and you think he's dead. It's a very sad moment. Like it looks really scary for something that came back in 1984. And this is G. They don't curse in this movie. There's no blood. There's no violence or anything. But that scene is kind of shocking for a PG, for a G. And the Muppets. They're timeless characters. I love these characters. That song, the other song, "Saying Goodbye," that's a really touching song. The songs, somebody's getting married. There's just a lot of memorable, entertaining musical numbers in this movie. It's just a huge treasure from my childhood. I love this movie. I wish it got some special features. I think on Blu-ray it has special features. I mean, you have there's an interview here with Jim Henson, which I would love to see because I miss him like crazy. Like the Muppets have not been the same since he passed away. I mean, especially now. I mean, his son Brian did a good job directing most of the '90s Muppets movies, and Frank Oz kept going until like 2000 and the year 2000, and then he quit. And Jerry Nelson and Dave Goelz, those guys are master puppeteers, master voice actors, and they bring life to these characters. Without those voices and personalities, this movie would be, the Muppets would never have gone past one film or their TV show in the 70s. But this has a lot of heart. That's why this movie is memorable. That's why I love this as a child. I like the girl that plays Jenny. She's a very beautiful brunette with these tight booty shorts. I'm like, yeah, that's for the guys in the audience, to have some real eye candy in the movie because, all the Muppets are felt, they're not real. And then you have her father, who's a really good character. I like his character because he has an accent and a mustache, and he says things weird, but it's funny, and I like him as a character. He was good. Uh, I think he was the chef. Yeah. of a restaurant that Kermit works in later in the film. But it's a really good movie. Like, if you have not seen The Muppets Take Manhattan, what are you waiting for? Go watch this. Don't watch the 2011 movie because it doesn't have any of the heart that this does. And this movie has Jim Henson himself. Those movies don't can suck it because they don't have Jim Henson in them, or Frank Oz, or Jerry Nelson, or anything else. Because those were talented people, and they put their all into this. You can tell with every frame of this movie, they put effort into these musical numbers and the puppeteering and the voice work and everything in the script. It just works very well. Yeah, and Frank Oz directed this movie. He's a great director as well. He directed this, and he also directed one of my favorite musicals of all time, Little Shop of Horrors, the 1986 remake. I love that movie. Screw the director's cut ending because I don't like it, but that's a good movie, and this is a good movie. And I have a soft spot for movies that take place in Manhattan and New York City. I've lived in New York City for a long time. I love the sights of, how massive Manhattan is. Nowadays, it's not as special as it used to be. But back then, massive buildings and Toys R Us when it was around, and a lot of great movie theaters, a lot of great freaking Broadway shows, and, a lot of memories for me. And NYC was a great location for the Muppets. And unlike Jason Takes Manhattan, they are in Manhattan in this movie for more than 5 minutes. So just to let you know, it's not a false advertisement. But this is a really good movie. It says it here. Miss Piggy is one of the great showbiz creations of our time, and I agree. It's a very cute, Muppet, and Frank Oz does the voice better than anybody. I give some kudos to the new voice actor that plays Miss Piggy that does a voice now, but it's not the same. Frank Oz is Miss Piggy's voice. There's no comparison. He is the man, the OG, the real McCoy. And this movie is the real McCoy. Kermit will live forever. He's one of the greatest puppets to be in any film, and Jim put his all into that voice. And he was funny in the movie. You could see the charm in his voice in every single frame. And the cameos make sense. It's a good movie. It's well put together. The only problem is that some of the there's like way too many characters in the movie. Like, I'm fine with Ronnie and Jenny and with the Muppets themselves and the father, but then there's other characters that are just thrown in there. Like, you got the doctor that's with Kermit, and then you have the freaking there's other like Muppets frogs, that whole subplot where he finds a job with an advertising agency. That was it's kind of weird. I don't know. It just kind of felt tagged in. I do love the ending because in the ending they show the Sesame Street characters. I loved Sesame Street when I was a kid. It was a huge part of my childhood. I love seeing Ernie and Bert and Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch and the Count, and it just brought back a flood of memories. And it's a very sweet ending. I'm not going to spoil it, but it is a good ending. Seeing the Muppets. This is the first, not the first time, but the first movie that you got to see a bunch of Sesame Street characters and Muppets in the same film. And they would later do that again in Muppet Family Christmas, which I love from '87. Rest in peace, Jim Henson. Your work will never be forgotten, never, and I can definitely say that for sure. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. This has been fun doing all these reviews. I'm going to continue to review this week and then next week, and then April we're going to get to a new theme. But thanks for watching. Take care, and I will.